Right. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining to this class session again. Excuse me. So now we are at the final stage of literature review and how to write a paper, which is part of this course that you are going to be covering. Pretty much simple. Based on the previous classes, now you have had a solid understanding of how to go through the searching, how to go data extraction, synthesis, and even how to look for the literatures and what sort of method you are trying to use. Are you going to use SLR or even SMS as a part of your research? Or even what sort of tool you want to apply and which type of, excuse me, databases, publication venues you're looking for to submit the papers and kind of stuff. So pretty simple idea. And if you see on the slide, when you come up about writing a literature review paper, firstly, of course, you have the title, and then you have the abstract, introduction, related work, methodology, results, discussion, and conclusion. So the title is actually, again, of course, some of you have been working in terms of writing papers. So then again, connecting with the title, it's pretty much important because the title tells you what is there. It's always better that you even write what sort of method you are using in your title. So like systematic literature review, and then what you're trying to find from your work. Then it comes about the abstract. So the abstract is pretty simple. It depends in some of the journal or conference, they ask for 250 words to 300 words of abstract. And some of the journals is a structured journal where you have to sort of write, even within the abstract, the introduction, method, discussion, conclusion, few sentences. So the gist version of those sections, which you need to be added into the abstract. So abstract is pretty simple. If we go to the back slide again. So it is actually summarizing your work, context, objective, methods, results, and discussion. So you can choose, even if it is like 300 words, you can just keep like these few sentences, like one sentence for objective, context for one sentence, then again, similarly, method, results, and conclusion when you have sentences. Right, so then it comes up about the introduction. Coming up with that related work before that is the introduction. How I see introduction is an extended version of your abstract. You can see the scholars or researchers are also taking the text from the introduction and put it to the abstract, which means the abstract, and it can be extended to the introduction part. So even those 1 or 2 sentences that you're adding to the abstract, you take those sentences again and put it to the introduction. Put your research question or even the problem statement, a bit of what is going on and how you will be doing your study, a bit of connection with the related work as well, what has been done, but not necessarily that much big anyway. Sometimes we can also see in the introduction, there are a lot of few description of this related work as well. So this sort of related work that you can make it as a different section. Sometimes you can see some researchers or scholars, they're skipping this related work or background study. So the background study is actually your related work, what has been done previously by the scholars and researchers and what needs to be done in the future. if you have a topic such as that is looking for maybe the modern technology and the connection of human. So then the human and modern technology related work on that, how human are accepting these modern technologies and modern technologies, what sort of work has been done in the context to find about the outcome of the humans thinking or way of activities or something like this. Pretty simple. But again, that may be something which I need to mention that it's always good to add the related work, like the recent work, but sometimes you may not get the recent work in knowledge. It depends actually from domain to domain. So it doesn't mean that if you're working on a paper which is on 2023, the related work might be from 2022 or maybe from 20, maybe a few years before. Again, it depends from the domain to domain. In some domain, you can see that if there are less researchers, less number of research community, excuse me, less number of publication, it's sometimes difficult to find the most recent work in the online access. So then it comes about the methodology, how you are using your work. How are you going to implement your study? How you will be using it? So this is everything is the research question objectives. So telling the research process and the planning for the review, and then it might have sort of the what sort of databases you have used. For example, what we have mentioned into our previous classes, minimum 4 databases we can think of. Okay, if we have taken these 4 databases, what methods we have used? When we use systematic literature review, yes. If it is a yes, then these 4 databases such as IEEE, EBSCO, Web of Science, SCM. Excuse me. After selecting that, how many papers have been filtered from that, and how did you do this extraction and inclusion and exclusion, and how did you synthesize those? Yes, coming up that into your method. Even like the Prisma diagram, which we have shown you into the previous classes. So like from this number of paper to coming up with the 30, 40 papers. So once you have these methods, like how we have been doing it, and then there it comes about these result part. In the result section, it's pretty simple because this is sort of visualizing what you have been analyzing and what you have been searching so far in the online databases and publication arenas or venues. And then based on that, you can see some, this is pretty simple. Excuse me. These sort of diagrams, tables are quite common, and the slides that you can see, publication year or even the ranking. It's up to you. You can add, if you have plenty of pages to add, then you can add those. But then again, it doesn't have to be something that's sort of mandatory. Some people are adding it to make it clear that what is going on in this research. And there are a lot of visual diagrams as well that you can use, excuse me, which we'll be going through a little bit later by going through papers. There are a lot of visual graphs that you can use into the result section as well. Like even taking the most prioritized keyword as an outcome of your result, excuse me, such as if I think in my research, like stakeholder engagement. So the engagement, the word itself maybe has come up with a lot of times. So on the graph, the engagement is that word is coming, sort of visualizing it even as a graph. So now the discussion again, which is the reflection of your results. And then lesson learned, what have you learned from your results? Sort of describing what did you find from your results, how this is contributing to the um, um, to the academia, and how can be theoretically, or even this can be practically, how this is connecting to the work that has been done, and what has not been done, and what it could be done to overcome this. And what are you proposing? What are you proposing based on the results that you have found? And what is the new knowledge that you are bringing? What you have learned from these papers, from these 30, 40 papers that you have selected, and which the other researchers would like to see, and even would like to consider as a new work. And then the last thing is conclusion. So pretty much simple. So in the conclusion, you can see like people are writing the future work, what needs to be done. And unanswered question, what is still missing? You can add in the conclusion. Again, summarizing what have you found in the result and discussion and everything, excuse me, that you can add into the conclusion. But of course, you can also see that some papers, they're also even this limitation of the work, or even future work. You can see that some researchers are also not using the limitation and future direction in the conclusion, but adding it as a subsection of discussion, which is also fine, which is also okay. And then in the conclusion, you just sort of summarize the answer question, or even sort of the thing that you have now studied. So in this way, you can structure your literature review paper if you are focusing on systematic literature review. Even, I mean, you can think of narrative synthesis as well. So such as you take 4 exact databases, and at the same time, you are manually searching another databases as well if you do not get enough paper. So now we will be playing with 2 papers at the moment, and we can see that what is going on there. Just 1 second, please. Sharing the screen, and then just need to close this. Just 1 second, it takes some time. I think I can send you the links of those papers. I mean, so I am sending you the links of the paper. But then again, now we are just sharing to make it easy for you. What I was mentioning that a lot of graphical tools are available. Okay, like you can read the whole papers, but there are a lot of GUI graphical user interface based tools as well. And now you can see that pretty simple. You can use this www.highcharts.com, and you can add your information of your papers, and in this way you can get this nice picture. This is actually the one of the paper from online that you can get this PDF. So work from Auckland University sample. As you can see that how many from year to year in the countries, screenshot from high charts demonstrating a basic bar chart. So you can use some sort of bar chart like this. historic world population by region. So you can also use this sort of bar chart if you would like to show some historical diagram, which you may find it necessary to add to your paper. So low-level language. You can of course add even excuse me on the Google form sheet, Google sheet. You can come up with some graphs as well by dividing like the demographic and even the male, female, or even some different keywords as well. So you can also come up with this sort of test graph if you think it is sort of necessary to show as a part of your study. And then you can see that by showing the red one, which is maybe something that is you want to highlight in your work. And then, yeah, so basically this paper has given a lot of link that you can use, a lot of tools actually to visualize your graphs and data. So you can use those tools, like actually pretty much simple, the website. So like D3JS, data-driven documents. Let's go with that. What it is coming up. Bar graph, R project. Okay, with that R project, we can show something like this. And follow the code demonstration. I mean, you can just follow. You can just go through and just read the paper, and then you can get some more ideas of how you just need to be showing these. All right, so conclusion. Yeah, so this was one paper, and there was another paper which I would like to show you again. Yes, one second. Yeah, so it's a paper from this, you can see, National Library of Medicine. But of course, this is open access, so we can follow it. Basically, it's telling you the literature review checklist that you need to be writing as a part of your thesis or dissertation. But definitely, we can use the format as a part of the literature review paper. So this diagram I wanted to show you. A literature review, you can see that like all the description what I was telling you, I was when I was having this lecture slide presentation, then you can see the literature review discussion, research question, you have the objectives, you have the results, and then the methods. Once you have it, just going, skipping. You can just follow these simple steps. First step, defining your main topic. Then when you have it, searching the literature, analyzing your results, then your writing, reflecting on your writing anyway. Pretty much simple, right? So, I mean, this way, the thing is that again, it's all about mind mapping how you're doing, how you have done your work, and then just putting into the literature review paper format. That's it, pretty simple. Now we will be going back to the slides again. We have a few more things to cover connecting with these papers. I'm still opening with that. So that was the format of how you are going through the literature review paper. What you need to add into the paper format, some diagrams, or even in the structures, what sort of information you need to add in there. After that, this is something a lot of us we are forgetting, because sometimes we don't feel like, even when you submit your papers, reviewers also are watching on this referencing as well. If you have followed the current referencing, so there are a lot of reference format available, and it depends in which journal or conference proceedings you are submitting. They might ask, or they might have their own reference formatting, so you can follow those. Some people may be asking for Harvard referencing, some people might be asking for Oxford referencing, or even APA, and a lot of reference format, but you can just follow that. But then again, when you refer those papers in your literature review article, just how you will be writing those. That's why I have given this example. So Hawk ETL in their work stated that, so like following the academic way of writing and showing. Another example is, for example, Hawk ETL proposed PA promotion mobile app in their work, or even sometime according to this author, according to number 2 or number 1, it can be stated that. So these are a couple of techniques, like how you are showing those papers in your article, or even so formal academic writing. And then it comes about the template and the format that you can find, of course. But then again, in your own research, just think of your abstract and the template that you'd like to submit into that journal, that you are already thinking into your mind at the moment, that, hey, this is the journal that I am going to be submitting. So I will be following that as a part of the coursework of this personal interest study course. And at the same time, we'll be working on this submission. And start with abstract, so add the introduction, background is similar works, and just something, just you do this practice by yourself. Trying to be focusing more on this, because on this publication awareness, excuse me, you can see that some of the journal or conference, they are not accepting the literature review papers. Let's check if they are accepting, or even they do publish literature review papers into their proceedings, or even into their open access repository. And if you have found some similar work from the website, then have a look on them, what sort of format they have used, how they have come up with those papers, what sort of diagrams or what sort of structures they follow, what sort of works, related work, or even references, or even open access journals they have followed, so that you can pick up those as a sample, and those journals or conferences, they can think, oh, these people actually have studied our work and they are following our pipeline. So it's a good thing that why not we consider their work as a part of our study, our publication. Again, you can find this on their websites, specific information that you would like to see from there. So for the paper format, LaTeX, it's pretty much simple, that you can get mostly all of the formats and you can generate by yourself. But if you face some sort of difficulties in terms of adding diagrams and kind of things, you can of course use the overlay, which is sort of the duplicate version, or the easiest version of LaTeX. And then the Word, which is like mostly a lot of people we are using the Word a lot. You can basically download the formats of the journals or conferences, the Word formats. However, just to let you know that sometimes some journals, they do not have any formats. In that case, they just give you some instruction like the format, the size of the font size of the texts, and the layout and the spacing option. This sort of pretty much simple thing. So in that case, not necessarily in all cases you have to follow the paper format. But tools for preparing articles, Word, you can of course use it, and overlays, which I have mentioned already. Once your paper is accepted, or even sometimes on the once you submit the papers into the journals, you can at least submit the pre-print version. You can have a look on that. Sometimes, even if you submit the paper, or even the paper is accepted, you can consider of uploading your author's copy, and just check with these publishers that if they allow that as a part of publishing your own work to the open access, even though they have their own open access platforms. But once, it's always good that you have your own record to get more view, and sometimes your citations as well. Sometimes we sort of feel lazy to do this work anyway, but that's for your own benefit, because so that the other academians and scholars, or even some industries, they can see your work in advance. And because sometimes in journals it takes years or even more to publish a paper, so it's always good that you upload your work in a way that people can see from different sources, even the open data, what I meant. So Zenodo that you can use, which is a standard way of publishing your papers. So just upload your published work into Zenodo. Mendeley data you can use as well. You can upload your work, and then you can link your work by using OrgID. If you do not have any account on the OrgID, please do open. It's very important, because in some of the funding calls, or even in some of the journals, they ask to provide your OrgID account. Upload your work on ResearchGate, Academia, and even syncing it with Google Scholar. These are sometimes we are not doing it a lot, but you can do it during your free hours. And if you have any presentation of your literature review or even your publications, please do upload your PowerPoint slides into the slideshare.net. They're also collaborating with LinkedIn, YouTube channels, or even some, if there is any other social media platform. Please do share your work. This is a must for the researchers. So thank you very much. It was pretty short again, and it was a nice thing that now you have already finished your this course with the lectures and everything, and now I hope that you'll be able to work on your literature review paper using SLR or SMS, and good luck with your work. I am now closing these lecture slides and then stopping the recording as well. Thank you.